the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Yo, 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 yo is loud. Sorry about that. Hey guys, what's going on? It's drive-in speaker box time. We're here. Welcome. I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm the grip.
And sorry if I seem a little bit like out of it for a second, but I was just sitting here recording the audio for our podcast, and it just gave me a weird error message. So if you're just now tuning in, welcome to the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. You missed the whole intro sound, but we're here.
That's something.
Yeah, we're here. We did it. Yeah, for the next hour and some change, we're gonna be talking to you about movies. We've already been talking to our friends in the Twitch pre-show. If you guys follow us over on Twitch, you can get into that fun. We do broadcast this live every Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Over on Twitch, just go to twitch.tv/the Drive-In Speaker Box. You can also follow us on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, wherever it is live that you want to see the show. You can participate because it is all simulcasted, which is pretty fun. Or you could just download this audio version. And so, if you're looking at the title of the show and you're watching it live, and you're like, "What are they talking about with AI?" Jake, you don't know this because I haven't even told you this yet. But Podbean is like a hosting service that we use for our podcast. And, if you listen to the show or you watch the show pretty regularly, you'll know that we talk about science fiction. We're both pretty sci-fi, oriented dudes. And AI, is a thing that is becoming more and more present in our world. And just last week when I was uploading our episode, it was like, do you guys want to try the new AI feature where AI just like listens to your show and then like edits it for you and then like creates a description for you and then posts it for you? And I'm like, okay, fuck it, let's try it. And it was weird. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And it took about 30 minutes, and it really, really, really weirded me out because it listened to the show, it listened to every bit of it, and wrote a really weird description of you talking about like Bollywood movies and me talking about other movies. It was strange. And then I didn't listen to the whole audio version of the podcast, but it like edited little parts, which was very strange. So yeah, I guess we're gonna try it again this week. So I don't know. It's just a weird thing. So get it live before the computer overlords scrub it over and then show you what they think you want to hear. Anyway. Here we are. All right. Well, let's catch up in the chat here just a little bit. Vince says, yeah, never mind what he said there. Google Podcasts ends in April, according to Velvet Santa on Twitch. Tony over on YouTube. Hey, man. He says, hey, guys, remind me what the audio intro snippet is from again. That's the theme song to the Drive-In Speaker Box. That's actually custom made. You will only hear it here on the Drive-In Speaker Box. So that is our intro and song. So, yeah. It's from the same guy that wrote the theme song to Mr. Show with Bob and David. So that's, if it feels thematically similar, that's why. Yeah, so anyway, it's been a week. Some news happened. We both saw movies.
We did.
We both ran into each other at the theater, like unplanned, which is always funny. And it's funny, I was standing over here.
I was about to say the way.
I was standing over to the side waiting for my Impossible Nuggets to be pulled out the fryer, which was working for the first time since, I don't know, 2023. Mm-hmm. And I see Jake over in the corner. He hadn't seen me yet, and he's standing in line in the A-list line, like about to lose his absolute shit because like people in the plebe line were getting served before him, and he's like, I pay $20 a month to be better than these damn people.
I didn't say That or like that. I did say.
You did say this.
I did say the words that I pay money to be better than them.
him.
I did say that.
The girl heard you because she was like, and she's like all of 12. And
No, she's there every week. She sees me every week, which is part of the problem. And the two people standing in front of me in the A-list line didn't have the effing A-list. And it's like if you stand in the A-list line and you walk up and you don't present your A-list,
then get your
you
A
should be
out of the
sent
line.
to the back of the plebe line. Like I have given them money monthly for 5 years.
It's been a minute. We've both been A-list members for a
I
while.
was with them through COVID. Mm-hmm. As soon as they were like, do you want your A-list reactivated? The moment it was available, I was like, yeah, take me back to the movies. I'll put on a mask. 2 seats on either side of me. Perfect. I love it. I was there. And then they're letting the plebe line and an idiot go in front of me. Mm-hmm. No.
He wasn't having it. And
then our movie theater had front speakers only.
well, you are sitting with your back against the back wall.
Did you have rear speakers or side speakers?
I didn't have a problem with it, but
Okay.
The rear speakers weren't firing too
Point
hard.
is-
Yeah. It was a little quiet.
About to be upset with my
But
local theater.
we both saw Argyle, and that's the point of that story. So
Yelled at the girl numerous times.
yeah,
For offering a sandwich.
it was an experience. But we're going to be talking about Argyle later in the show, and also I guess we should just go ahead and start with the sad news.
Yeah.
And I will. I'm just gonna pull this up, even though there is a poster of it right back behind us here. But there's a close-up image on the screen above you. We lost Carl Weathers this week, and that was sad. If you don't know Carl Weathers, then you're missing out.
Where have you been?
Dude, he's in everything. Like,
Yeah, he's Apollo.
well, I mean, he was Bennett, pushing too many pencils. Or no, Dylan. He was like,
Dylan.
they got you pushing too many pencils, Dylan?
Yeah, what's the matter? CIA have you pushing too many pencils?
Dude, I mean, he's just been a really cool. What was that? What was it? Was it Action Jackson? Was he in that?
Yeah.
It was. He was Detective Jericho Jackson in Action Jackson.
He was Chubbs and Happy Gilmore.
It's just
He was himself in Arrested Development, which was a really great role because he was like down on his luck. Him who would work for a sandwich. If you've watched that show. Yeah, dude, Carl Weathers was
well, and everybody
so cool.
that worked with him said that he was just such a cool, fun, hilarious guy to work with. And then, of course, a lot of people discovered him again. Young people discovered him by his part in the Mandalorian. And
I just watched a thing the other day. I think it was right before he passed about him talking about being on set on Predator. All of the interviews with the dudes on Predator and like their like workouts together and off-screen competition with like Jesse the Body and Arnold and Carl Weathers all just being like the most bulked up dudes.
yeah, what a set to be on. So yeah, I mean, a sad day losing Carl Weathers. So pour one out. A great time to revisit any of your favorite Carl Weathers films.
Vince said he talked about in the Discord how Carl Weathers made up the character of Carl Weathers in Arrested Development. That's pretty funny. He's like, what if I'm like basically homeless, but I'm me? And they just, maybe he just wanted to eat while he was on set. And he was like,
loves sandwiches.
yeah, what if I'm broke and they have to feed me to hang out with them? Yeah.
Well, so that was a sad moment, but let's jump into some fun news. Speaking of things that we thought were going to be done, Jim Carrey was like, yeah, I'm retiring. He's like, not going to retire. Coming back for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Oh, really? Coming back just to be Robotnik, huh?
Which I'm okay with because somehow, by some magical weirdness, those movies are fun and they're good.
That's true.
And I'll take another one. Yes, please.
I haven't been upset at him.
Me either.
Not really. Maybe like little tidbits, but they've been good. Surprisingly good.
In other news and streaming news, which all things are moving towards, everybody, like we predicted when Netflix was doing their password sharing crackdown, and it's like, oh, Netflix, I'm canceling. I'm not going to do this. This is bullshit. And then, of course, Netflix does it first. And guess what? Now Disney is like, here we go. So Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, they have announced their deadline of password cracking as well. So that's going to come to an end because Netflix already figured out how to do it. So now everybody else is going to follow suit.
I haven't logged into my Prime Video since they announced ads. I need to see if I'm just automatically being charged the extra dollars. Yeah, which is probably what I'd opt in for anyhow, because I'm living through a commercial would just about drive me nuts. Or if I have commercials on my movies.
I have not watched a movie yet on Prime. I just haven't been watching a lot of things at home, and I haven't seen the ads. You got any other? You got some fun news?
Oh yeah, well, fun news. Speaking of Disney here, because of course. There is news on the Lion King prequel, Mufasa v. Lion King.
Okay, all right.
The man that's taken over the voice for Mufasa, Aaron Pierre, talked about that. And, basically he said that there's full plans to just make you hate everything about Mufasa. It's like, come on, man. The movie starts and it's about Simba, and it's about Simba for a reason. Mufasa's supposed to be there. You don't need to go and explore young Mufasa and see that he was like a rowdy doucher in his youth, and he like mistreated Scar, and that's why Scar is a villain, because they're probably going to make it where everyone's sympathetic towards Scar, and Mufasa's like really like a butthole until he learns that he needs to be a better person. I don't need to see
love these stories right now.
I don't need to see the Mufasa redemption. He needs to just stay James Earl Jones
in the cloud.
Yeah,
just
like
be the cloud dad.
Be like the cool dad. Yeah, but instead,
because I know we all have dad issues, and can we just all like say, hey, at least there was this Disney lion dad that was good. You know, and as Tim on Timbo Sippy on YouTube, he says, we all know how it ends anyway. So
yeah, but see, they're most likely going to make it where he's some sort of butthole because he's the popular, good-looking one, and Scar's the skinny, off-colored one with a scar. And they already did it in the cartoons where they called Scar because he got a scar. What was his name before it was Scar? They're just so mean about it. So there you go. You're going to have that. And then also Disney, but kind of not Disney, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
The trailer dropped.
The trailer, and you get to see weird, bloody-mouthed Tigger and lots of, like, flaming chainsaws.
Does TTFN now stand for something else? Like, no longer Ta-Ta for now, but more like, I don't know. I don't know. What would it stand for? Like tear, N-word.
Did it have?
Oh, not an N-word. I don't know.
Moving on.
What's a murder word that starts with N? Nail.
Sure. Was that in the trailer? Ta-ta for now?
I don't know. That's Tigger's catchphrase. He goes, hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo, TTFM, ta-ta for now. And he like bounces away.
I've never heard that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Winnie the Pooh?
I did. I don't remember that.
That's Tigger.
Really?
I mean, everybody has their cat. Like that's as synonymous as Eeyore going, "Thanks for noticing me."
Well, Eeyore's my boy, so everything with Tigger, he was too ramped up, and he
just
was
like
bouncing
you tuned
everywhere.
him out.
Yeah. Tigger was lame. Rabbit was lame. Owl was lame.
Rabbit was lame.
Eeyore's my boy because Eeyore's real. He's just like drowning in the river and being carried away, and he's like, "Just let me go. Don't want to bother." I'm like, "This is me. This is me." Eeyore rules. But yeah, you get to see Tigger.
Yeah, see, TTFN told you. But I want to know what the murder Tigger says. I know what TTFN means.
Who knows? But also things that shouldn't exist. Jurassic World 4 has even more updates. What was just last week? They talked about how they got the original Jurassic Park and Lost World script writer to come in. Well, now apparently Universal has hired David Leitch to direct it.
Okay.
John Wick, Deadpool 2.
Why does everything
Bullet
have to
Train.
be such an action movie? The first Jurassic Park wasn't that big of an action movie. It was more of a
Horror.
suspense and horror movie. Like, I mean, it was just like I was watching the trailer for the umpteenth time for Ghostbusters Frozen Diablo Chapter 5 or whatever the fuck is going on in that movie. And it was reminding me of a conversation I've been having with maybe some of the people in our Driving Speaker Box Discord. But I was having the conversation somewhere about why does it all have to be like an action movie now? Like the old Ghostbuster movie was a comedy, and it was kind of slow, and it had some like fun moments.
That's true. When you go back and watch it, you're like, wow, it's moving so slow.
Most of the movie was
It was the music.
Not like bustin' makes me feel good. And now like all of it is bustin'. And they've got like jetpacks and ice spikes coming up like day after tomorrow style on the beach, and then a Diablo character comes out with the horns, and then of course Bill Murray's like, oh, tall, dark, and horny, and everyone's like, oh, you know, and then Paul Rudd is like, I'm Ant-Man, you know, and it's too much action. There's drones flying around, and like, just that's why nobody's like super into these movies like the old ones, is because it's not everything has to be a GD and action movie.
Yeah. Vince came up with a good one for your ta-ta for now, making it
Terror, Frightening Nightmare. Hell yeah, I like that one. And Dina says it's the marvelization of everything. And yes, like it's just, I feel like we're as an audience, a collective audience, we respond like with our dollars to these crazy, wild, ridiculous, brain-numbing spectacles, and we get too nervous about spending our admission price on a movie that we may not know what it is or what it's about or who these actors are or if I'm gonna like it. But you know that, like, hey, dude, fucking truck jumping through, shooting a laser gun at a ghost that came out of a kid's backpack. Hell yeah, man! And like, there's enough of those people that are gonna go, I don't even have to think about what it's about. I know it's got Bill Murray still. I know it's got ghosts. I saw Slimer get that kid. Sign me up. Has it got a popcorn bucket I can stick my dick in? Sign me up.
Dude, okay, so, hey, we were at the theater and saw the Dune popcorn bucket. That was the other thing I exclaimed out loud after I was pissed about the plebes. Was you
real,
showed
man.
you pointed out the bucket, and I was like, oh, you can put your dick in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone there was just like,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even Saturday Night Live did a skit on it this weekend
did they?
about the Dune popcorn bucket. And you know that a product designer made that and was like, and then you know they took it to the marketing at AMC and somebody was like, and then you know someone greenlit it going, the internet is going to love this and we're going to feign ignorance and it's going to be a popcorn butthole. And they did, and they were right.
yeah, there's no way that someone didn't be like, you guys,
What were you thinking?
am I the
here?
only one seeing this? And everyone's like, right.
Let's see how far we can get this to market.
Yeah. Everyone's getting beat off in Dune. Which talking about
Get her Dune.
talking about jerk off fest here. In a podcast interview on this dude Josh Horowitz, Happy Sad Confused podcast, Matthew Vaughn and Henry Cavill were on there, and Matthew Vaughn said that he has a new project coming up with Chris Hemsworth and Sam Rockwell, and he's not saying anything about it yet, but he does say that he's expecting it to have the same kind of impact that Kick-Ass movie had. Is it going to be another comic book movie? Who knows? But you got Thor and with Justin Hammer in it. You got some Marvel alums.
If Sam Rockwell's in it, sign me up, man. That is a default pass that I'm gonna go see that movie.
Really?
I will watch any movie that Sam Rockwell is in. I went and saw that Agatha Christie one that was pretty good just because he was in it. Man, I love watching Sam Rockwell.
What if you watched a Sam Rockwell movie and he didn't dance in it? How would that make you feel?
I've seen movies that he didn't dance in.
Like what?
Well, I mean, as Velvet Santa just pointed out on Twitch, he was in the first Ninja Turtles movie, didn't dance.
Are you sure?
I mean, it's not in the movie.
Is he not one of those like Foot Clan that's like in the background
This
of like
is how we do it. Do it.
yeah, because he's like cigarettes, and then off screen he's like
regular or menthol.
yeah.
No, dude, he didn't. I don't think. Did he dance in Moon? I think he did dance.
He was
in
all by
Moon.
himself up
Yeah,
there. He had to entertain himself. He was definitely up
he
there.
was dancing up there.
trying to see.
I don't know if Seven Psychopaths. I don't think he danced in Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, which I love that movie as well. Pretty sure he danced in Jojo Rabbit, which again is so good.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he is really good in Jojo Rabbit because
so good.
he redeems himself just a little bit after he's a terrible Nazi. Yeah, I forgot that he's in that.
He's in so
He's
many
so good in that movie.
He's in so many good things.
Yeah, like
I'll give him a pass for being in the remake of Poltergeist, but that's why I went and saw it. I was like, oh,
he's in
Sam
Galaxy
Rockwell's gonna be-
Quest.
He's in-
That's a
oh my
good
God,
movie.
he's in Galaxy Quest.
But-
he's Zaphod Beeblebrox in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is that? I don't
He's the guy with the head that goes. Bloop. It was the.
I don't remember that movie. I can't.
Do you never listen to the audio, like the BBC audio dramas? They're really good. You should listen to them. Little audiobooks of. They're fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Well, so there you go. There's going to be a movie, another one by the dude that did Argyle, with bringing Sam Rockwell back, and this time it's going to have all four in it. But sitting next to him in that podcast was Henry Cavill, who plays Argyle and is Superman, and he talked about the Highlander movie.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be in the Highlander reboot, remake, sequel, who knows, whatever. And he's making it sound kind of cool because when Henry Cavill gets on a project on stuff, he's a fan. And that's kind of the thing that you need in a lot of these stuff, like the Warhammer project. He's an executive producer as well as someone that's going to be starring in it and stuff, which is good news. But he's like a fan of Highlander, and he talked about the TV show and stuff. And he said he couldn't tell how much of the TV show is going to end up in this new movie with the lore and stuff like that. But it does sound that like at least someone who's starring in it is like someone who cares about it.
The only thing that I hope that they address from the TV show is how many. Where are they putting that sword? You know what I'm saying?
In the jacket where they just...
Yeah, but he'll like do tuck and rolls and like all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden he's like, and also samurai sword.
Yeah, and Duncan never has it in a sheath either. It's just
like,
always
ching.
unsheathed. How is it? But then it can make sparks because it's so sharp and slice through like handrails. But how is it not cutting through his jacket or him? I guess he doesn't care if it cuts through him.
Yeah,
but
unless it's his neck.
Yeah, but it probably still hurts, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean it's annoying.
Yeah, like when Connor is just getting murked by that dude in France with the rapier over and over because he's drunk as hell. Like he cares enough that he's like, I'm done. Yeah, like it hurts, right? When the Kurgan stabs him, it hurts.
Yeah, I'm getting stabbed hurts.
Yeah. But maybe the new movie will have the Watchers and stuff in it, so that's kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
Bringing the TV lore kind of stuff.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, there's maybe Highlander won't be so bad. But at the same time, I'm kind of upset with old Henry Cavill continuing to be in these things that like I like and enjoy, and making it where people are looking at it and they're going to want to ruin it. Don't ruin my Warhammer.
Don't ruin it.
Don't ruin my Highlander.
Don't ruin it. Don't do it. Just don't.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah. You got any other news?
Nah.
Before I jump into new releases?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, there are new movies coming out this weekend, you guys, and there are a bunch. A lot of them are kind of going to just streaming, but we're going to mention a few. Perfect Days is going to be coming out in theaters this week. This is a written and directed by Wim Wenders. It's about this janitor in Japan, just living his life. It's got a lot of olive branches on this. It's getting a lot of really positive reviews about just a beautiful life in the day of this guy who's passionate and just cares about life. It's starring Koji Yakusho. If you've seen him in a lot of stuff, he's pretty cool. You maybe have not seen a lot of stuff that you know about, but he's been in a lot of American movies like 13 Assassins, Memoirs of a Geisha, Babel. But he primarily is a Japanese star, but he's very good at what he does. Rarely do you see actors like him cross over, and then I mean, you've obviously got like your big ones, but
like old dude from Bullet Train plays Scorpion.
Oh,
and Last Samurai, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah. He's,
or Ken Watanabe.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say Koji Yakusho was also in a lot of old Takeshi Kitano films, and I think that's where I first discovered him. So he's a cool dude. But that's coming out in theaters, probably limited to expanded, maybe not nationwide.
Isn't it like he meets a girl and kind of like teaches her how to just enjoy like life a little bit? Yeah, I remember the trailer on that. I saw it like on Godzilla or the Heron and the Boy and the Heron or something like that. It looked pretty good.
But it's won a lot of awards already in film fests and international film fests. And, I think from the trailer, it kind of looks like, a young person would look at this man's life and be like, why are you happy? You're a janitor, right? And what about life is important? And he runs into this runaway and is like, look, I mean, it's not all cleaning toilets. But anyway, it looks good. I'll probably see it if it comes around here. So there's that. Also coming out is Out of Darkness from director Andrew Cumming. It's about the Stone Age, a desperate gang of early humans banding together in search of a new land. It's from Stage 6 in Bleecker Street. But when they suspect a malevolent, mystical being is hunting them down, the clan are forced to confront a danger they never envisioned. I remember seeing the trailer for this a while back, because it reminded me of like Quest for Fire and stuff, where they're not speaking English. It's like this kind of made up language, a lot of it in subtitles. But it's got Kit Young, Chukwumodu. You've been seeing these up and comers coming around, but it looks interesting. I don't know if it's going to get a lot of traction at the box office, but I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked kind of freaky. I watched the trailer for it. It's just, it'll probably be lame when, like, at the end of it, it's just like a bear or something.
Yeah. And I saw Kit Young first in the show on Netflix called Shadow and Bone, and he was pretty good in that one. And I was like, I'm going to start seeing him quite a bit. He was good. So here he is in a feature length. That is coming out. Let's see what else is coming out. Turning Red, which is a
that's one of those where the movie already came out, but Disney's putting it in the theater as like its official non-COVID release or something like that.
Disney
just like
Plus movie.
Because they're doing it like they did with Soul.
Yes,
where it's like the movie's been out. You could have seen it, but this is as like being in a theater.
And it's about that the girl that turns into like a big giant red panda or whatever. So that's getting some theatrical treatment. What else is coming out? I think the big one that everybody's talking about, that's everybody's going to want to see, is Lisa Frankenstein. This is from director Zelda Williams, written by the one and only Diablo Cody. Everybody knows Diablo Cody, even though she hasn't done a whole ton of stuff, but the stuff that she has done, everybody's like, oh my God, Diablo Cody, because she did Jennifer's Body and Juno and Tully, and she is just kind of this prolific feminist writer that makes these extremely quirky and interesting comedies. But Lisa Frankenstein, it's a coming of rage, quote unquote, love story about a teenager and her crush who happens to be a corpse. After a set of horrific circumstances bring him back to life, the two embark on a journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts.
Is it like a remake of My Boyfriend's Back? Did you ever watch that?
Now that you think about it, kind of.
Yeah, I watched that a bunch when I was a kid.
That's an interesting...
Because that was a movie about a 50s girl with a zombie boyfriend.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of, and the boyfriend in this reminds me of Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus. And I'm sure there's a lot of elements being pulled here. But I'll probably see this because it's got zombies and it's fun. And Diablo Cody is a pretty decent writer. Like I've liked a lot of her other movies that she wrote.
Well, and has Zelda Williams been doing a lot of directing? I haven't heard anything about this, but I haven't been looking into it. That's Robin Williams' daughter.
Yeah, nothing big. You know, as far as I know, she has been directing some things, but mostly music videos, short films, things like this. I think this is going to be her, like,
First feature length?
First feature length. Yeah, I think this is her first feature length film. But
How about it?
But she's been in a lot of stuff because of, you know, who she is. But yeah, this is her first. I think first. I'm pulling up her IMDb page now, and I'm not seeing any other big directorial things. No, so this is her first feature length. So cool. Could be interesting.
Well, how about it?
Let's see here. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? No. It was Frankenstein.
Velvet Santa watched My Boyfriend's Back.
Did he? Yeah. That checks out. That checks out for Velvet Santa. But those are the movies that are coming out in theaters near you this weekend. This will be, February 9th, 2024? So you can check your local listings, find those movies. And
So that's going to be the Valentine's Day movie then, huh?
yeah, probably so. Valentine's Day. Blech. So stupid. What a dumb holiday. I'll be working. We're doing a big Valentine's menu because we too are selling out to capitalism's idea of romance, and we'll be having some featured menu items at Pinpoint and some holiday Valentine's cocktails. So there you go.
Vince is asking if we're interested in the Final Fantasy CGI movie from Fathom Events. I never liked that movie. Did you like Advent Children? That was the FF7. No, the Spirits Within was
That's the one I remember.
Advent
yeah.
Children was like the FF7 one that was like.
I don't think I ever really gave it a shot. You know, Final Fantasy and me, like we fell really out of touch by about that time that the Spirits Within movie came out, and I'm like,
Yeah, post FF10 was a bad time.
Well, and I never really I stopped following the lore of the games too.
Well, because it didn't matter anymore because you had sequels, and the whole purpose of Final Fantasy was the entire premise of those games is the final tale of a dying world. That's the entire premise, which is why it's the Final Fantasy. So each game should have nothing to do with the other game. There might be elements of them, like in the English version, you have Sid and Biggs and Wedge that'll be different in every universe.
But 1, 2, and 3 all had some coherence. Right? There was the black wizards and the white wizards.
The classes and stuff like that, but the story in the world is completely different.
Okay.
That's the whole thing, right? Because you're going to have the classes and the magic and all of that in each one, but the tales are different. Like FF7 with whatever their dumb world is, dying from being over industrialized, and then
Earth.
Yeah, and then FF8. You have they're the rogue, what do you call them? People for hire, soldiers for hire.
Oh, mercenaries.
Mercenaries and stuff like that. But there's the time skips and Ultimisia's trying to destroy everything. And then you have FF9, where it's the whole completely different world where you have Kuja and the Fat Queen and the Rat People and Zidane, Monkey Man, weird tales, and then FF10 where it's another time skip of a super advanced sci-fi world being thrown back into tribal times because the haunting
Did
memories.
you play all these games?
Hell yeah.
Okay. I'm you have a very, very detailed knowledge.
Dude,
of
I
what
used to be
happened.
super into Final Fantasy, playing it all the way from SNES to FF10, but as soon as FF11, there's a sequel, I was like, you ruined it. You ruined it.
Then that's not even the Final Fantasy. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
They
need to start calling penultimate fantasy, and then there's 5 sequels.
Well, FF10 too. They had FF10 too. FF11 was its own thing no one cared about. 12 was and then 14 is set in the same universe as 11 or 12 or something like that, and it's an MMO. It doesn't matter. Final Fantasy, like you said, became very upsetting as soon as they decided to disregard the premise. As soon as they pulled a Disney and they're like, what if instead
Kingdom
of
Hearts
principles there was dollars?
Do they still use materia?
No.
I don't know. We don't need to go into it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So I guess the point of it is, I watched Advent Children enough on VCD when it was released. I don't know that I would pay to go watch it in a movie theater.
Well, right on. Well, yeah, that was an interesting spiral into Final Fantasy. Let's review Argyle.
Final Fantasy did always have good music. You're right.
You guys want to talk about Argyle, the movie that we watched, that was in theaters just this weekend? Directed by Matthew Vaughn, written by Jason Fuchs. Yeah, it's got the cast. We told you the other day: Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston. That's the John Cena is kind of in there for shits and giggles, but that's your cast for the most part. And this movie is very Matthew Vaughn in a way that, to me, felt like he didn't really know how to stick the landing here, unlike he has with some of the Kingsman movies. It was marketed very much like a Kingsman movie, even with a freaking like post-credit weird teaser scene, like alluding to the fact that this might be somehow related to the Kingsman world.
There is he talked about that in that podcast.
I read
was
about
talking
it,
about earlier.
and they were like saying, "Oh, well, maybe we will make a movie about the book Argyle, and not this meta movie, which is a movie about the book author Argyle." And there's like, I don't know, I think they were trying to get way more layered and in a movie that is not doing well at the box office, so that whatever idea he thought he had is probably not going to get greenlit. So with that said,
in short, it's colorful and it's fun at times, right? And that's really what
it's Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's really what, it's appealing to a lowest common denominator type thing. It's very colorful and it's fun at times.
Stylistically, Matthew Vaughn does great work. Like,
Yeah.
There's an action sequence there towards the end with smoke and choreography that's so Matthew Vaughn, and it's fun to watch. But then it follows it up with an ice skating sequence that it's so eye-rollingly cringy that you're like, what the hell is going on?
And then that's the other part of it, is that it's it's so extremely predictable.
All these twists,
and has a couple of pretty severe moments of cringe. So that anything that would add some substance to it or make it where you're really drawn in and be like, what?
yeah.
No. Or like, whoa, that's cool. No, you see it coming from like a mile away.
Well, they drag it on too long to where you, the viewer, can figure it out way
that's
before
true.
they put it in any sort of exposition.
Yeah, and the way they plot things out in it is just so easy for you to connect dots way before the movie gets there. And so as soon as they're like, and here's the reveal, you're like,
Yeah, we know.
cool. Can we get past that?
We already figured it out.
Because now it's boring already. And each time that occurred, which is
Several times.
at least several times, I was like, there it is. Okay, cool.
Moving on.
Yeah, it's like that. Why did you do the dramatic pause when you've already been setting it up for like an hour?
So what this movie did well is, it carried that sort of meta narrative of there's a story within a story within a story here, which was handled pretty decently with some of these writing in the script, because having the characters of like Sam Rockwell and Henry Cavill flashback in and out was very creative editing. It was very fun and very engaging at first, until it kind of got hammered in, and then there was a twist, and there was a that, and there was a whatever, and it kind of made you realize that this movie was very much carried on the weight of, or carried on the shoulders of some amazing, talented people. Like Bryan Cranston is so freaking talented. Sam Rockwell is unbelievably talented. Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard is incredibly talented, and there was a lot of really just fun cameos.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that, yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard is talented. However, for the first 1.5 hours of this movie, She was a screaming damsel in distress, and it became off-putting because it's a very paint by numbers or cut and paste from so many other things. That we've seen before in the past, and really, but there were some.
Well, like Catherine O'Hara's reveal was like the only one that kind of was like, you wanted to see it coming, and you're like, okay, it makes sense, but it's also Catherine O'Hara.
It was
so
the
great.
one part that so there's a spoiler right there for that. But everyone is a spy. Is your big spoiler there?
Every person in this entire movie is a spy,
and that would have been one that was unseen. However, they telephoned it about 120 seconds before it occurred.
Yep.
Right? They go there, and then like if you're not paying attention, you might still be like, "Oh, really?" But it's not going to be like, "Oh." It's one of those things. There's a line of dialogue where it gives it away well before it happens, and then it occurs, and it's not shocking anymore at all.
That was like the problem with most of the movie is it didn't trust the audience enough to like go, okay, let's not drag this out because they're probably not going to know. And it's like, we're going to know. We're going to know.
Or there's some things, if they would have made mention of it once and then it happened, you'd be like, oh, there's that thing. But instead, they're like, remember earlier when we said this deal? Don't forget it. Oh, hey, just a callback to that thing, just so you didn't forget. And then an hour in, after you've been told 10 times, they're like, reveal. And you're just like, yeah, you hammered it in that I should really remember that.
Yep,
detail.
But the one thing that did make this movie really, really fun is, cloak and dagger spy shit is there. It is popcornable. It's fun. What I really liked is at the very beginning, the juxtaposition of Sam Rockwell's character of, I'm not what you think of when you think of, James Bond's super secret agent spy. This is me. And she keeps fantasizing it's this Henry Cavill looking character who's like suave, huge, debonair, and bulletproof, and always has the right things to say and doesn't get hit in the face. But it's really Sam Rockwell, which kind of makes it fun and ties it down to a human level just a little bit, even though nothing about this movie is really believable in any stretch of the imagination because it's a Matthew Vaughn movie. But then it just springboards off into insanity by the third act, which is kind of classic for Matthew Vaughn. Like you think about the first Kingsman movie when everybody's heads blew up in plumes of colored smoke. Very similar here. But
Dina says that he made this for his kids.
I believe it. I mean, this is a pretty kid's movie,
kid-friendly spy movie. There's no extreme, there's no shocking or scary deaths in it. All of the deaths in it are very cartoony or pretty abrupt. Like there's one guy who was kind of set up to be like a big bad, like a mini boss or something, and even the main bad guys, they just, when it comes time for them to be next, it's easy and it's quick and it's not like there's no cool one-liners or anything, and it's just they're done, they're over, and they're dead, and there's not a lot of blood or pain or anything action fun.
I feel like
so I guess that makes sense. It's a very Spy Kids. It's like Spy Kids for
grown-ups.
Yeah,
it's there. It is. There's this one sentence review. It's Spy Kids for grown-ups, and part of me is not mad about it. Like I'm not gonna say, "Ooh, I didn't like this movie."
No, it was fun.
It was fun. It was a good time for what it was. When people ask me, oh, is it worth seeing it in the theater? I think all movies are worth seeing in the theater. So that's a bad question to ask me. I think we all need to go see more movies in the theater just so we can keep getting good movies in the freaking theater, right? So, yes, go see it in the theater. Do I think that it could have been trimmed down about 19 minutes? Could it have been it's 2 hours and 19 minutes long. It did not need those extra 19.
It honestly feels like it's a lot longer.
It does.
Like when I watched Fighter for last week, a Hindi movie that had an intermission in it, and it's 2.5, 3 hours long or whatever. That movie felt half as long as this one.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. there was a time in the theater that I was kind of like checking my time. I'm like, hang on a second.
Yeah, it was
How
only
long
an
is this
hour,
movie?
10 minutes into it. Yeah, this movie would have been a perfect 90-minute runtime movie.
And it should have been. That's the thing. There was nothing so amazingly written or created or an envelope pushed with this film that is something we haven't seen before, but tell it in a fun way, and repackage it in a fun way and give it that Matthew Vaughn like glossy spin, colorful, choreography laden romp. And I guess that was the biggest problem, is it just felt too long, and that length made all of the fun twists and turns and plot reveals to be pretty boring. I did like the one thing where Sam Rockwell was like, "Oh, so I'm this character in the book," which was John Cena, and I thought that was fun. But anyway, yeah, Argyle. It's in theaters. You can see it, and you should. It doesn't have a fun popcorn bucket to go with it that you can fondle later.
You can still buy the Dune bucket and
go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I recommend, it's a matinee. Go if you're bored, you want to go see something in the theater. Check it out. Go to the theater. If there's anything you ever take away from this show, is go to the theater. And just watch. Get a popcorn. Get some Coke. Don't stand in the A-list line if you don't have A-list, because this guy's gonna knock your skull.
Dude, I will choke you to death in front of everybody.
But just go. I mean. Somehow we're reborn in a place like that. And
dude, you're going to be unborn in a place like that if you get in front of me in the A-list line.
This is true. Oh, man. So, yeah, Argyle's playing in theaters right now. It's not making a whole heck of a lot of money at the box office. So, we'll see what its theatrical run looks like. Okay, well, that is the only movie...
Dude, Buttercream Gang is so worth watching in the theater.
I was hoping you were not going to address that comment
100%. Dude, Buttercream Gang in the theater would be... That's the Fathom event we need. Why are we getting Dune anniversary on the 18th and 19th when we could have Buttercream Gang in there? 100%. Dude, the scenes in Chicago when he's hanging out with like the ne'er-do-wells and the drug dealer guys would be that much better on the big screen.
So here's what you need to do. You just go rent a theater at the Malco, if they still do that. Bring an Xbox, do your own private screening or Buttercream Gang. Freaking weirdos.
Dude, we should do it. That'd be sick.
God. One of these days, so for those of you that are listening to the show, and
dude, you need to watch it, man. It's honestly
I don't need to do shit. Is what. But what I'm suggesting here is that on our Discord channel,
where's my Christmas gift? Buttercream Gang copy.
It's on the DVD shelf over there. If you listen to the show and maybe you don't watch it live, or maybe you do and you don't know that we have a Discord channel, we have a Discord channel. And Vince, our Discord mod or Twitch mod, he has
he gets timed out.
He watches. He has a watch along after the show. So if you want to keep this going and watch a movie with the rest of our Drive-In Speaker Box crew here and fans, we can host
really fun episodes of Twilight Zone where Mickey Rooney's like, screw it, hated this TV show, everyone's idiots.
But you can jump in there and maybe one of these days Buttercream Gang will be in the Discord channel, and we'll see. And Crashcast says the Buttercream popcorn tub would be shaped like the Widow Jenkins. The Widow Jenkins.
You help do chores. You help do chores on the outside of the bucket.
Oh my gosh, no! Timbo Simpy says I rented Buttercream Gang when I stayed homesick in 1992. Velvet Santa knows he gets time. Oh, they wanna. He
finds his way.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude, Mickey Rooney. They want to watch sexy stuff.
Good Lord.
That was so much fun.
Well, it's time for the box office roundup. We're going to give you the box office report for the previous week, which was February 2nd through 4th, 2024. Jake over here is going to tell you the top 10 movies in America, starting with number 10, working our way up to number 1. These are generally domestic numbers only, unless we specify otherwise. Some of the bigger ones that get an international release, we'll mention those too. So, take it away, Jake.
Coming in at number 10, dropping from the 7 spot in its 7th week out from WB. Aquaman 2. It's made about 120 million here in the U.S. and around 4.25 across the globe. So probably not bad globally, but I'm sure that their advertising budget
Considering the trajectory of these comic book movies, yeah.
reshoot budget, and then their CGI get rid of Amber Heard budget for what wasn't able to be done in reshoots, was probably took a big chunk of all that.
Giving shout outs to Alabama there. Debbie on Facebook. Hey, says love us lots.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, more people from around the world. That's what we need. Coming in at number 9, Poor Things in its 9th week out. 2.1 million brought in by it, bringing it up to a $28 million total. So not too many dollars. However, I think we still have it showing local too.
We do. It's at our AMC. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one's out there. It's only made about 70 million across the world. I feel like that's one of those that when it hits like streaming,
it's
going to
get a big streaming push. And I mean, 70 million's not bad for that type of film.
Yeah, like weird
kind
little
of
indie movie.
Indie art film, yeah.
Yep. And then coming in just above it at number 8, climbing from the number 9 spot, American Fiction, $2.4 million this past week. It added 200 theaters in its 8th week out, which has brought it up to 15 million total. So not bad for it to gain some more and climb up the list. We'll see where that one goes from here. And then coming in at the 7 spot, Anyone But You. Probably the biggest dip it's had in a bit.
Money.
Yeah, 7 weeks out, $3.4 million brought in by that one. 76 million here in the U.S. And it's actually made 151 across the world. So how about it?
75 and 75.
That one is an anomaly. A movie that was about to fall off the list, and it just came back up out of nowhere. So good for it.
Vince on Twitch says, anyone but Bo is seeing that, and he's right.
And then coming in at the 6th spot, dropping drastically from the number 1, Mean Girls, the musical, and it's 1 month out, brought in 3.8 million, 66.2 so far in the U.S., just a little bit more across the globe, bringing it up to around about 93 million total, which I wouldn't expect that to do well anywhere except for Australia, the UK,
yeah,
Canada,
anywhere where there's like
English
bitches in high school.
Wow. Okay.
They were mean.
Yeah. Oh, I guess so. Okay. Yeah. All right. They are mean. All right. Fair then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can get away with it this time. That works. Coming in at the halfway mark at number 5, Migration, 7th week out, 4.2 million, 106 so far, and around 222 across the globe.
Another 116 overseas. That's pretty wild.
That one's one of those that they're like, oh, lost money. It's never going to make it. Get it out of here. And then it's just stuck around.
It spread its wings and soared.
Yeah, it migrated from the bottom up to the top and mid-range of the top 10, and it's hung out there for 7 weeks so far, so not bad for that one. And then continuing to finally fall down the charts here at number 4, Wonka, 4.7 million.
But still here in 8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks, 201. Thanks, Merle. $201 million brought in by that one here in the U.S. alone. $572.5 million the world over.
Which is crazy because most of the reviews were like, meh.
Dude,
$500 million.
It's not a good movie at all. It's far away from what a good movie would be.
It made the one with Johnny Depp look amazing.
That's true. That one had Christopher Lee.
It did.
Had evil Christopher Lee.
Like looking
evil
back,
dentist.
Looking back, we did not appreciate what we had at the time.
Well, because he was like creepy child toucher with big
Which is kind of how
teeth.
I imagine Willy Wonka to be.
No, I imagine Gene Wilder.
Okay.
Just because.
All right.
You get nothing. Nothing. It's like okay to yell at children, but not okay to be creepy at them.
Guess that's true.
But creepy, evil dentist Christopher Lee was very cool.
Christopher Lee.
But yeah, Wonka. It's still up there making dollars, though. And then at the number 3 spot, dropping out of the top 2, Beekeeper, $5.3 million brought in by that one. Just under $50 million in the U.S., and it's 4 weeks out. That one has already gotten enough traction that they've got some new movies lined up for Statham. So it did what it's supposed to do. I still want to watch that movie, but I want to talk about new movies, and it's hard to take the extra time to go to the theater. I did see I can watch it at home for $20.
Yeah, it's hitting VOD right now. I mean, it's doing well. It made 122 million worldwide.
But it is one of those that I want to watch in the theater though. Like it just seems like fun in the theater. And then coming in at number 2.
This is a weird one, guys.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
you know,
like this is
Jesus Take the Box Office,
dude.
The Chosen season 4 episodes 1 through 3 assembled together for feature length, $6 million.
Coming in at number 2 at the box office.
Yeah, $6 million over the weekend. A little bit more money came from somewhere because it's at $7.4 million.
What?
Well, and the cool thing about that we learned when we were talking about the writer's strike is that the Chosen is completely like it's crowdfunded.
I know, which makes it even more insane.
So there's no budget. That's $7.4 million they made with nothing they have to worry about.
And they probably don't even have to pay tax on it.
I'm sure they do, but
I don't know. They just for Jesus.
I've watched
money for Jesus.
I've watched a couple of episodes of the show, like a couple of episodes in the first season, and it's not bad. It has a decent production value, honestly, you know, and it's not a terrible show to watch. But it is weird to see that it's the number 2 film.
That's strange to me.
What a weird time to be alive. Taylor Swift and Jesus Television taking over.
I don't know, man.
And then coming in at the top spot, even though they're saying it made none of the dollars, Argyle for the weekend brought in $17.5 million in the U.S., just under 35 the world over. They are not happy with that number.
I think
You'll
they
probably
were
see
trying
lots
to
of
pump it up a lot and get this big hype. Behind it, but I think it said it had a $200 million budget for that movie.
Really?
And
the cat looked that bad?
Well, it says so on CBR the other day. It said that the film was reportedly acquired by Apple for $200 million. And I think that
I'll watch it at some point.
The $50 million was probably its estimated production budget, but Apple bought it for $200 million because they want to once it hits streaming they want it to be exclusive, right? Mm-hmm. So technically, then it's $250 million was spent on this movie, but how does Apple know that that's going to be a wise investment when it hits streaming? Like streaming is so weird, man.
I just want to point out that Godzilla -1 was made on a inflated reported budget of $13 million, but Dina let us all know that it was less than that, and it has a picture-perfect, flawless Godzilla through a lot of that movie, and the cat in a $250 million movie looks real bad.
Mm-hmm. It do.
There you go.
It do.
Yeah, that's a bummer for them, man. I think they were banking on star power, but I bet a large part of that is that the trailer is more confusing and has more twists and turns than the movie does.
The movie itself does.
So everyone's like, I don't know what I'm going to get into by going to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And truthfully,
it didn't have the same pacing and tone of the trailer to me when I sat in the theater.
If I wasn't sitting here talking to you all about this, I would have had no reason to watch that movie. I, too, would have waited for it to be available elsewhere and stumble across it and be like, oh, what's this? And then watch it and be like, oh, Sam Rockwell's fun. That's cool. And then not care about it anymore.
Yeah, it's not memorable. But
And you know what? Another thing, too, I've already seen most of this movie, because Sam Rockwell is most of this movie, and I've already watched it on Netflix a couple of years ago in Mr. Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's the exact same character, except instead of being an assassin, he's a spy. And instead of it being red hair Anna, what's her name? Pitch Perfect girl.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of being her, it's red hair Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
All they did was change the girl, but they kept the Sam Rockwell the same. It's the same.
That's fine because Sam Rockwell's perfect.
But it's the exact same character.
I know. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever it is you prefer, be it Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or Twitch, which is where we like to be. If you do follow us on Twitch, you can get access to the Twitch pre-show where we come up here and just shoot the shit with you guys every week before the show, and no topic left unturned. And if you're listening to this
Kendrick, I remember.
AI processed podcast on wherever it is you download your podcast, then I hope that AI did a good job scrubbing this. And maybe you won't even hear this part of the podcast because AI will scrub it out so that they'll never know that it was AI. We'll see. But anyway, don't forget to tune in next week, same time, Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And you can get in live. Thanks for everybody that was in the Twitch and in the chat and in the YouTube and all that stuff. We love hanging out with you guys. And if you want to keep the fun times rolling, you can always jump in our Discord and check out Movie Time with our mod Vince. He's going to be showing a movie over there on our streaming channel in the Discord, so you can get in on that. So as always, I'm Bo, the boom operator.
I'm the Grip.
And we will see you guys next week.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.